Good day, everyone. How are you today? I am teacher Jovelyn E. Cantuba. Today, I will discuss a very interesting topic. But before we proceed in our lesson or our topic for today, let me show you pictures. Okay, and these pictures, I will let you guess, or you will be able to guess the possible topic for today. Our topic for today is about the meaning, scope of philosophy of education. So after the lesson, you will be able to learn the meaning of philosophy of education, the philosophy, the meaning of education, as well as the scope of philosophy, and of course the three branches of philosophy. Okay, let's begin with the philosophy of education. So, philosophy of education is the branch of applied philosophy that investigate the nature of education as well as aims and problems. It includes the examination of educational theories, presupposition present in them, and the arguments and against them. So therefore, philosophy of education is more concerned with the nature of education as well as the philosophical issues that arise from an educational theories and practice. So philosophy of education is important because it provides a basis of understanding of nature and purpose of education. It allows us to consider the questions that are at the heart of education, such as what is the purpose of education? How should a student be taught? Now let us proceed to the meaning of philosophy. So the first meaning here is philosophy is a search for general understanding of values and reality by chiefly speculative rather than observational means. So meaning philosophy signifies the natural and necessary urge of human being to know themselves and the world which they live and move and have their beings. So philosophy of education, comprehensive, is also a comprehensive uh, system of ideas about human natures and the natures which they live in. It is a guide for living because the issues it addresses are basic and pervasive, determining the course we take in life and on how we treat other people. Hence, we can say that all the aspect of human life are influenced and governed with philosophical considerations. So, as the field of study, philosophy is one of the oldest discipline, and it also considered as the mother of all sciences. In fact, it is at the root of all knowledge. To the literal meaning of philosophy. The word philosophy literally means love of wisdom. It is derived from two Greek words, phileo, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom. Okay. This term or this love of wisdom, this term has become synonymous with the study of knowledge and understanding of natural world and human existence. So, love of wisdom is the essence for any of investigations. So, in essence, love of wisdom is an attempt of gaining knowledge and understanding through application of reason. So, this means all the activity uh, people undertake to when they seek understanding or when they seek to understand fundamental uh, fundamental truths about themselves, the world in which they live, and their relationship to the world and to each other as philosophy. And now let's proceed to the meaning of education. Etymologically, the word education is derived from educare, Latin bring up, which is related to educare, bring out, bring forth what is within, bring out potential, and educare to lead. So education in the largest sense is any act or experience that has a permanent effect on the mind, characters, and personal ability of an individual. In technical sense, education is the process um, by which society transmit uh, accumulated knowledge, skills, and values from one generation to another. Okay, next, Webster defines education as the process of educating or teaching. Educate further as to develop the knowledge, skills, or character of. Thus, from this definition, we can assume that the purpose of education is to develop knowledge, skills, and uh, characters of students. So education is very important because it helps people to become a better citizens and to get a better job and choose between the good and bad. There are many views and understanding of the meaning of the term education. In modern times, it has acquired two uh, shaded meaning. Namely, we have an institutional instruction given to students in school colleges formally. And next, a pedagogical science studied by the students of education. You see, instruction, it is the a set of information that teach on how to do something, or it is some orders that need to be done. Then we have pedagogical science. So when we see pedagogical science, it is the methods of teaching and gaining knowledge and understanding of how a human mind acquire new information. So this includes elements. We have teacher, student, and the overall learning environment that all have an impact in the learning process. Now let's proceed to the concept of philosophy of education. So we have here, it is here that the philosophy of education plays an important role in providing a direction to education on the following issues, as well as providing a theory of knowledge for education to work upon. So as I said earlier, philosophy of education is concerned in the nature of education, as well as the philosophical issues that arise in the educational theory and practice. So philosophy of education is important because it provides a basis and understanding the nature and purpose of education. Okay, next we have here philosophy of education is essentially a method of approaching educational experience rather than a body of conclusions. It is the specific method which makes it philosophical. Philosophical method is critical, comprehensive, and synthetic. So therefore, educational philosophy is the criticism of the general theories of education. It consists of critical evaluation and systematic reflection upon general theories. It is a synthesis of educational facts with with educational values. So, and briefly, educational philosophy is the philosophical process in solving philosophical issues through philosophical method, from a philosophical attitude to philosophical conclusion and results. Thus, it aims at achieving general and comprehensive results. Okay, now let's proceed to the scope of philosophy of education. Okay, the first scope here is the aims and ideals of education philosophy. So, educational philosophy critically evaluates the aims and ideals of education. These aims and ideals has been promulgated by various philosophers in different times. So they are the character building, man-making, harmonious human development, development for adult life, uh, development of citizenship, utilization of leisure, training for civic life, training for international living, achieving social and national integration, scientific and technological development, education for all, equalizing educational opportunities. Then we have strengthening democratic political orders and human source management. So this and other aims of education presented by educational thinkers in different times in and climes are scrutinized and evaluated. Thus, philosophy of education critically evaluates the aims and ideals of education uh, to arrive at. Okay, our next scope of philosophy of educations, we have the interpretation of the human nature. So when we see human nature, it is a concept that denotes the fundamental disposition and characteristic, including the ways of thinking, feeling, and acting that human are said to have naturally. A philosophical picture of human nature is the results of the synthesis of the facts borrowed from all human science with the values discussed in different normative sciences. Philosophical pictures, therefore, is more rude compared to uh, the picture of a man drawn by biology, sociology, psychology, economics, and anthropology, and other human science. Okay, our next scope of philosophy of education is the theory of knowledge. When we see theory of knowledge, is an area of philosophical speculations with concern with nature, conditions, and or first principle of knowledge in general. And also, according to some authors, with truth, value, or reality of knowledge in general. So, education is related to knowledge. It is determined by the source, limits, criteria, and means of knowledge. So, the discussion for all this falls within the jurisdiction of epistemology, one of the branches of philosophy. So this philosophy, it helps a person to differentiate the truth and lie. Okay, the last scope of philosophy of education is the relationship of education and various areas of national life and various components of the system of education. So one of the most important contribution of the philosophy of education to the cause of education is the provision of criteria for deciding the relationship of state and education, economic system and education, curriculum, school organization and management, discipline, and etc. These problems have led to the evaluation of different philosophy of education. The criteria for judging everywhere are determined by philosophy. So therefore, philosophy of education provide criteria for critical evaluation and judgment in this field. Okay, now let's proceed to the three branches of philosophy. So we have here metaphysics, axiology, and epistemology. Okay, let's begin with metaphysics. So what is metaphysics? So metaphysics is a branch of philosophy that investigates principles of reality transcending those of any particular science. So metaphysics concerned with explaining the fundamental nature of being and the world. It is the study of nature of things. So metaphysician asked what kinds of things exist, what they are like. So they ask question why we are here. What is the purpose in our life? Does really God exist? Does the world really exist? What is the universe? And etc. So they really they reason about such things as whether or not people have free will. In what sense abstract objects can be said to exist, and how it is that brains are able to generate minds. Now we have here axiology. So what is axiology? So axiology is a branch of philosophical inquiry that explore aesthetic and ethics. So when we say aesthetic, the study of basic philosophical question about arts and beauty. So meaning aesthetic is the philosophical principles that concern with the judgment of beauty and the nature of arts. Next we have ethics. When we say ethics, is the study what makes action right or wrong, and how theories of right action can be applied to special moral problems. So meaning ethics is all involved about, or it is more concerned about the behavior, what is right or good conduct. Okay, next we have epistemology. So epistemology is the branch of philosophy of study of knowledge. It attempts to answer the basic question, what distinguishes true adequate knowledge from false inadequate knowledge. So this philosophy, so it helps for people to differentiate the truth and lie. So ang pag-aaral na ito ay tumutulong para malaman ang katotohanan o ang totoo sa hindi. Okay, that is all about the meaning, scope of philosophy of education. Okay, thank you.